Hands
His angle
from
there,
Nathan,
nice,
big
nice
left
kick.
Here comes Jordan,
Jordy come back with those hands again.
Hey, your boys are back.
Hello.
How you going?
Pretty good.
Pretty good. Probably fix that mic.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you
Am
go.
I on? Yes.
Yeah.
Hi.
You're on a Sunday again.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's a couple Sundays in a row. I think.
Not too bad.
A sunny Sunday.
It is. It's going to get pretty hot later on.
Is it?
Yeah, it's meant to be like 30, something like that.
I'll get some sunscreen.
Yeah, that's it. Put on that bucket hat, mate.
Yeah. Yeah. Facts. Actually, facts. Cool.
All right. So we're back here. 1774 happened from there. So we're here to review it.
Up in big time.
Yeah.
Only just recovered.
Yeah, actually, like it'd be interesting for you, like, really working the corner there. It's a whole different experience emotionally.
Yeah, man. I actually was thinking after this was like my first time cornering in years. I haven't cornered in like a really long. I've cornered a fair bit in my life. And like the last time I cornered before this one, like I had a pretty bad experience and I had a bit of a dummy speed. Like I'm never cornering again. I'm not doing it. And like I convinced myself for a while. I kind of forgot about this in advance, but I thought about it after. Like I convinced myself for a while that like I just hate cornering and I can't do it anymore. But I actually really like it. I always liked it and I enjoyed this. But like I'm out of practice, not in that. I mean, I know what to do. I'm not like fucking anything up massively, but just I forgot the toll that it takes.
Oh.
And like I wasn't even like I don't even know if it's fair to say I cornered so much as I was a second. Like I wasn't giving tons of advice. It changed fight by fight, but I wasn't giving tons of advice. I wasn't needed in that regard. I was just giving massages and icing legs and making sure there was no water left on the floor. But still tires you the fuck out just to be like that close over and over again.
Oh yeah. Well, it's like we were just talking beforehand. When you did that, like when you're a fighter, like it takes emotional toll as well. But you're like in control, and you just have your fight usually, and that's it. And then you can calm down and like just kind of like decompress. But when you're like coaching, cornering from there, and like especially you guys, from that one, big major fights, back-to-back fights as well. From there, it's like you. Was it Don? I think Don Hedricks was talking about with someone, I can't remember who, but like, the heart rate that you have during your fight is almost the same as fighting. And
Yeah.
the adrenaline goes up and down. And it's like, and imagine like you have like 3 or 4 fights in one night. That's what the coaching corner is going through, especially there are like, as this night's proved, some very close, high level fights.
Hard work. And like, as you know, I drink 15 coffees a day, so my heart rate
It doesn't help.
Anyway. Yeah, but it was like, I really enjoyed the night. But yeah, the corner, I think it's probably fair to say I didn't give enough respect to how much cornering. Like maybe I came in thinking it's just like, I just carry the bag. Like, which is like, that's my job. I was the least important corner man for sure. Yeah. Like, because I'm the dumbest of the least experienced of the 3 in the corner.
The emotional radiation of it all.
And it's like fights that we talked about last week that I'm very close to and I cared a lot about the result. To sit that close to it and be in the thick of it, it takes away from you a lot.
Well, that's it. Like, like you got to just pay respects to your coaches and that, whereas like, they take a holiday and things like that. It's like they need it because they've suffered emotional damage.
All
this shit.
Aram especially, that dude lives and breathes it. And he's a very passionate guy just in general. Like you watch that dude core and you're watching years come to his life.
Yeah.
Like you're watching his hair turn grey live.
Oh man.
Like he's a very fired up corner man. And like that will really punish you when they're not, but like you need it. Like you have to do it. I don't think there's a way to be like just a completely like, stoic corner man and just not let it, like there are really good corner men who don't let like kind of the emotion influence what they do.
Yep.
But I don't think there's any way to not feel the toll of being in the corner. Even if you are like one of these Darren Reese types that is just super like professional and not getting like overwhelmed by the moment, I'm sure it rips him apart as well.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
like you can't I think the battle as regardless of the role you play, whether you're a trainer or you're more just a corner person, I think it's like trying to allow all of that external, like the noise and the moment and the emotion, but not pull, like kind of take that in, but not put it back out. Like, because you need that in the corner is someone who's just kind of straight with you. Like, even like Aram's super fired up, but he's still very concise. Like, it's just that ability to kind of like just take all of that. Like, you got to process really quickly and on the spot. Like, you can't, because you can't like be like getting distracted and changing your mind. Like, you have to stick to the plan as well. But yeah, that was big.
Well, it's like even myself over the last couple of shows, I think I've changed my corner style a little bit. So taking more of a lead role. But like, but fuck, you've seen enough like photos of William Lou of me in the corner. Yeah. I'm always just fucking hype. Like, you know, just, but like it does even now, like, I just go, man, it's just too much. Like after his shows, it's, and like day or so afterwards, it's like, oh man, this feels rough. Like not physically, but just mentally so drained, and I can't put it to other things like family and things like that as well. So like, yeah, it's probably not fair to them. So, but I changed my style a little bit, but also, put it on the other people again. It's your turn. You call the scores now. Like,
yeah, but I
just do the technical work.
Yeah, and like that's really. I mean, look, you could do a whole episode on cornering and different styles, and I think one of the most important things and what kind of sheltered me a little bit is like. Knowing whose job is what, like that's really important because I have had a very mixed bag of experiences as a corner person with what's going on in my corner over the course of my life. And like I think the biggest problems arise from the people in the corner not knowing whose job is what, or which is probably more common, forgetting in the moment. Like, because this was my biggest thing is like I trained really closely with especially Baki for this one, but it wasn't my job to jump up on the apron and tell him what to do. And like I would be overstepping my bounds as well because Aram knows much more than I do. But there's almost like when you've got your mate in front of you training, fighting, and like you almost feel like a sense of responsibility. But like sometimes the best way you can help is just to shut up. Yeah. Because like, you know, one bad message is probably better than two good ones. Right, like competing, because like if you try to two people send a message at the same time, zero gets through. So it's like and obviously I like you got to just think of it like you know you can trust the other person in the corner. You probably wouldn't be there. Like there's no need for you to. It's not like I ever for a second I'm like I have to get up and speak now. I know I don't need to, but it's about just remembering that like you're not needed. So just like do your job. And like I had little bits that I had to say, but like the biggest problem that you'll find in a corner is like three people just blah, 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 blahing. And it's like no one can hear anything. You're also not helping the fighter get their heart rate down. Yeah. Because he's just like, oh, like I've had so many corners where I've been like, can you all shut up?
That's exactly right. And like, yeah, really, like it's when you're fighting, that's the finished product. Yeah. It's like there's only so much you can give. There's only so much the fighter will actually take in as well. Some fighters just don't take anything in and just basically saying like, yeah, you just like either you gotta like, the arm slap or like, you know, other ones just basically just calm them down and just give them like, just keep doing this.
But you got to know as well, like if you're having to like tell your fighter a technical essay in the corner, you probably fucked up a long time ago. Yeah. Because they're supposed to already have a plan. They're supposed to already have like, you're just giving them little reminders of things to do. And just like you can see different things than they can see. Like just give them an outside perspective. Tell them what's working, tell them what's not working, and give them like adjustments that you know they can make. Like I'm not going to go and call for my fighter to throw a fucking taekwondo kick because I don't know if he has that skill. Like, you know, figure out what you work from and draw from readily available tools. Otherwise, you're just going to be confusing in your message. So it's, but it was like tense corners, like, you know, and of course, like some corners are easier than others. These ones were all, anyway, we'll run through them in detail. We'll run through them. But
it's good perspective because, like, you got one of the best seats to see front line. For most of the main fights.
And for me in the corner, I think that's like I'm a bit of a drama queen, which will surprise no one. And I sometimes think you just forget, like when you're in the corner. It is just, it's fun too. It's the same as when you're fighting. Sometimes you'll be like, at the end of the day, like, don't overcomplicate it. It's fun. I'm sitting right by the ring watching awesome fights, lending a little bit of a hand. But I think like to touch on your point, is like it's easier when you're fighting. I'd rather be the one fighting because I feel like I'm 100% in control and accountable for what happens. Whereas like, especially I find with newer fighters that are just getting their first run or their first few runs, like I feel like a tremendous amount of pressure because I watch this. If I watch someone go out and have a fight and they don't have a great experience, like great result, but also if they don't have a good experience, that's what I care about a lot with new fighters is what was the experience like? I want you to come back and even if you lost, feel like that was a good.
No, I could do it again.
Yeah, I want to do it again basically. And I want to go back to the gym. Like the worst thing to me is to watch an amateur fight and have their introduction to the sport and come out of it like
Breaks them.
yeah, and just go, I don't even want to train because it's a beautiful sport and it'll give you a lot of good memories. Maybe some bad ones, but it will give you some good memories. But yeah, like I don't want to watch amateurs go out there and like really just have a dejecting experience that makes them not want to do it again. And like I just watched amateurs. I don't know, amateurs just or new fighters. I notice how different their energies are. Their body language, everything is a little bit different, and it's like a really cool. I love working with new guys, and I haven't much recently until kind of the lead up to these fights. But like I just watch these guys going out, and I feel like, fuck, did I do everything that I needed to do to make sure that he's got what he needs? And there are little things. Things are on a dime when you're fighting. Like one thing, whether it's a choice few words or a certain warm-up or something to shelter the fighter from that could put their mind at ease. You got to really be thinking, what do I have to do? Because these things make a difference. And then like when I watch them walk out, I'm like, there's just that second guessing of like, and maybe, I don't know, maybe it doesn't reflect well, but I just to be honest about my thought process is like, I don't think I fucked anything up badly, but like I watched the guy fight and I'm like, I have like a moment of like, did I do everything I needed to do? Like it was everything solid on my end because I think you owe it to fighters to make sure like, when they're in the ring, it's on them 100%. Once the action begins, by like, did you give them everything so they were at the best possible starting point? And then that kind of pressure builds for me as the fight progresses. Am I saying the right things? Am I keeping their head in the game? Yeah, it's a different kind of sort of pressure. And this was an interesting one to work with new guys in their first sort of couple of fights and then flip right to that higher end professional because it is so different. Like there's and different complications in each one. Because then you've also got the other side, like when you're watching an amateur, you're really just reinforcing some pretty basic concepts because that's what amateur careers are for. And you don't have a detailed game plan and in theory, the stakes are a little bit lower and stuff like that. But then, like, when you are cornering like a high-end professional, like, there's a lot more nuance in what you have to kind of advise them on and stuff like that. So it's like different pressures come from different areas, and also like you got to be able to adjust your corner strategy based on the challenge that's presented to you. Yeah, very interesting thing. Working the corner. And to my friends, I hope I didn't fuck it up.
So will we see you in the corner again?
Fuck. Well, this is the thing, like
I'll ask you next week.
No, you will see me in the corner because I love it. Like I love. Actually, this is also one of those things. Like I love it in the moment. Like there's never any doubt. It just fucking wrecks me. Like it really takes and it detracts from like other parts of my life. Like I find it difficult to do my job on Monday. When after I've been cornering, but it's good experience, and I assume it will get easier as I do it more. I will corner again. But the other thing is like the reason I'd love to do more of everything I do in Muay Thai, but like there is a lot of things Like, I don't ref as much as I would like to ref in a perfect world, or judge as much as I would like to judge, or fight as much as I would like to fight, or corner as much as I like to corner, or commentate as much as I would like to commentate. But there's only so many shows.
You can only do so many things per show.
Yeah, and that's like, this was a mess as far as like, it wasn't like a mess in terms of organisation, a mess in terms of like, I got out of the corner and sat straight down at the commentary booth with Kieran, which I was not expecting. Like, it was just commentators weren't ready for that amateur portion of the live stream card. So Kieran and I did it impromptu. And I'm the same thing. I'm a bit like, I can do it for sure, but I was a bit like, fuck, I don't know how I didn't prepare for this. I didn't, especially with
Just had to wing it.
Yeah, I had to wing it. I think it went okay.
Yeah.
I had some okay feedback.
You just both sounded exactly the same.
I did hear that. That's not something.
I remember I was watching one fight, and then I just go, yeah, it's like, I know who talks a bit, but like Kieran doesn't say quite, but then I like little inflection go, oh no, they're actually both talking. It just sounds like just one person's going on.
I got told this a lot that Kieran and I sound exactly the same, and I wouldn't have picked it. I don't know. I don't know what that is. But yeah, like I got told it, and I got told that people thought I was the only one commentating. I didn't get it at all. Yeah, but like, that's also like a volatile combination. Kieran and I have the same affinity for fucking annoying people. So a dangerous booth combination, but I think we made it out.
Got it done. Yeah.
That causing the world to end.
All right, fair. All right, let's go over like some of this amateur stuff. So we'll go over like the guys that we know kind of, and then we'll go to the main event of the amateur card. Yeah, and then we'll go for the pros. Yeah, and then we'll go for the pros afterwards. Yeah. So on my side, I had Jakoda fight his first fight. Generally, like looked good. Like, you know, he's more from, he's like, his background is like jiu-jitsu. Yeah. And he's been training a bit with the boys and been looking good. He's got a boxing fight coming up soon. And like, I fought one of Rod's boys from Nova there. They had a good stoush. Yeah, probably on a similar level from that. Like, I really like Jakoda's kick game. Probably got kicked too much for my liking. Yeah. Because he was just on the spot from there. And then in the end, it kind of just turned into a little bit of a slug match, just to stand in the middle, and Jakoda just like kind of snuck a few rear hands there, probably just
hurt him with hands. I didn't get to see the fight that closely, but I saw Jakoda rock him with his hands a couple of times. Yeah, there, but like it's like, it was just the end part was like, you know, wasn't ultra happy with it because like a bit more scrappy than I like, because I like a little bit more like people going to TJ go, yep, this is us. Yeah. But like, yep, he went well. So like that. Also had young Rowan fight, one of Don Miller's boys came up from Victoria from that. Look, for this fight from here, it was like a great experience. Like a lot of takeaways. He did some good stuff towards the end. But generally from here, like, Don was but big, strong boy. Came with a good, like, you know, like forward mindset, worked those knees very nicely. He knew what he wanted to do, and he established himself. I liked watching him fight. He was good. Yeah. Good classic Don Miller style. Very strong. Oh,
yeah, strong. But that's that style, isn't it? It's that kind of clinch-based style and good, strong spear knees down the middle.
Yeah, and you know, actually, I find when I watch amateur fights, like I don't see that many amateurs that can really like drill someone with knees. Like,
no, it's not usually like a natural. It's not really a natural style for.
And I also don't see that many amateurs with like a knee first style. Like the amateurs kind of tend to be all hands first. Yeah. And they end up in the clinch. They don't push it there. Like clinch is just something that happens.
Yeah, it's not like
something you're aiming for.
It's not like like an amateur style where it just goes, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm good at.
He had a mature style, and was doing some good damage with that knees. Yeah. I was a little bit worried watching it.
That's all right. But he turned up, like, Ryan turned up good afterwards from there. But like just little things from that, like he just has to like he's a good counter fighter, but like you just can't be too.
I say he's a good counter fighter, but not a strong counter fighter.
Yeah, just like it can't be just like on the back foot waiting too much and just sometimes as well the amateurs, like, you just got to teach them, like, you just got to fight.
Don't play. Don't teach. Like,
if you're gonna play a game plan, it has to be strong and firm,
and it has to be there has to be a reason behind it. And in the amateurs, like, I think when you first kind of like, and I'm not saying be super aggressive as an amateur. I mean, don't play, and there's a big difference between counter fighting, and not every fighter who likes to be on the back foot is like a playful kind of. I don't know. I think sometimes like I get it and I like it. I'd rather work with an amateur who watches a lot of Muay Thai and likes to watch like beautiful Thai stylists. But you got to understand, and this is something I see a lot written about now, that it's like you got to understand what's applicable for you and what's not. Like because you can't. I see it many times, like young. And this is getting tangential. This isn't in direct reference to your boy, but they trying to copy like a very over the top kind of playful female sort of style, and it's you don't have the technical base to do that yet. And it's again, like we said, don't necessarily come out and scrap. But what I was saying is like the first time you're probably sending someone really on the back foot is because you know that's what's going to work with the opponent, and in amateurs you don't really know what they're going to do. So keep it a little bit more core and a little bit more fundamental. You're still just trying to round out that base of the non-negotiables when it comes to scoring points in Muay Thai and stuff like that. Sometimes too many ideas can be too much for amateurs, trying to do a little bit too much in the early going. And you just got to deal with the problem at hand. And it's like, especially if someone's doing that walk forward, very straight line knee style, give them something to worry about as they come in. That's probably don't worry about being pretty. Worry about making them feel like, because that's probably was it, right? Like this boy was not really getting much opposition to come in, and that's what really let that knee gain momentum.
Yeah, well, it's just trying
make
to
him
talk
hesitate.
about, put stuff down the middle. Like he did land a good right hand at the end of the fight from that one, but like it's the same thing, that walk forward style. But if you're going to go kicks around, it's a bit hard because he's probably already on top of you before the kicks come in.
Yeah, I like him though.
Yeah,
I like his style. Just a difficult match where he couldn't really get.
He got thrown a little bit in the deep end as well, because like with both of these boys' fights I had from here, they were development days, but then no one brought any shin pads to the fight. Just like not us, but like Michael was just saying, oh, it's like the shin pads aren't here. It's like oh well, these guys are just starting rather than have shin pads, and they're only boys as well. Yeah. But then look, we're fucking here, so just like let's get it done a bit.
That's a bit of a change. Yeah. I didn't know that.
So like mental wise, I think he was a little bit already on the back foot.
Already rattled a little bit, yeah.
But that's okay. But I was really happy at the end result. Like at the end, like he didn't fade off. He didn't quit. Like he actually came back and fought.
Right. Yeah. Like that's what I was saying too. I can't remember what I was saying to her. I have a couple of highly repeated speeches that I give. That is like in your early amateurs, it feels like it matters and it should feel like it matters, but in the grand scheme, just deal with different styles. And like, I prefer guys to fight. If you're a promising looking, Muay Thai stylist, fight someone who's got a real Thai style that's going to push you like that. Because a lot of guys, the way that Australian and New South Wales Muay Thai is like, there's a lot of matches that like don't do that much good for you. Guys that aren't really doing Muay Thai. I won't get into it too much. But you know what I mean? Like, and then it's just a matter of time until you get that feel of someone who's got like a strong fundamental Muay Thai style, and you're like, oh shit, I actually don't know how to deal with this. Better do that early wherever you can, even if it does put some L's on your record. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter when better to actually gain the experience. It's what amateur careers are for.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
So was there anyone on your side that you wanted to talk about on the amateurs?
We in the end just had the one amateur. Bobby was a tough one, to be honest. He opened up really, really well. He was kicking he kicks like a mule. It's a wicked leg kick, big power body kick, and he was doing that well. He's got like I don't want to offend the karate boys. I don't know all the difference. I get them mixed up. I think like a Kyokushin. I'm sorry if that's incorrect. Background, and it does make his styles very, very kick heavy and quite unorthodox. And yeah, so he likes to really open up with those big chopping low kicks, and he was really kicking this guy and doing some big damage. Working really well. We need him to tape a little bit more. Bobby's a little bit short and stocky. We wanted him to land those kicks and then just kind of get that little hop teep, kind of create that distance again. Just get actually to the outside, and kind of catch the guy coming in. But then the Newcastle boy, third on Muay Thai, I believe. Buddy's his name. He was good. He had nice straight line punches, and they picked it well just to throw a cross down the middle as Bobby kicked because his head was quite stationary. And he got dropped once, and I sort of noticed he wasn't quite there anymore after that. And there was a couple more knockdowns off of similar. He struggled to get his feet back under him. And then eventually there was a stop. He came back to the corner and then early second round stoppage. The boy just got a bit of a roll on, and Bobby couldn't quite get himself back into it. So tricky.
That's how it goes. But it's like you said with that amateur career, it's like it's a learning experience, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. He will learn a lot. Looking forward to seeing him go again. Okay. I've got a soft spot for Bobby.
All right, let's go to the main event for the amateur card. So it was for WMC Junior Australian title. We had Cale from SRG.
SRG, yeah.
Also sponsored by Warriors of Moncon as well.
Shout out to Warriors of Moncon. Ooh. Yeah, I've seen some amazing Warriors of the Moncon video footage from this.
Yeah, it's been good. Like him and it's Uwe as well.
Yeah,
like,
Sean. Sean's really good too.
Nice. I like Sean. Good footage from this one.
Yeah.
And from Queensland, we had Dre Stalder from Team Stalder on that one. And ended up being a decision was it just a straight decision or was it split?
I think it was split.
Split? Okay, yeah. I think it was split. I can't remember as well. But I just know, Cale took the win in the end from this one.
Thoughts?
I'll just the thoughts of people posting afterwards is like a little bit full on.
Do we want to rant today or we?
What's this show about? You know?
Yeah, right. Okay. I'm going to tell you about the fight. I liked it. I really liked it from both boys, just like I liked their first fight. This is a problem. No, it's not the problem. There's a lot of problems. League in the world, not with this fight. I am getting tired of fights ending and like we watch these fights and crowd support and fanfare and stuff like that is always going to influence the discussion. Like, surprise, surprise, everyone in Queensland thinks Dre won. And everyone in New South Wales thinks Cale won. That's cool. We love that. That's
state
sports.
of origin clash.
Yeah, we love that. That's sports. But what I get tired of is like you see one of these fights happen and it's like each side was watching a different game and you're like, this is going to win because you did this and this and this. And it's like, none of that is in the scoring criteria. But like, I should word this correctly. Like, what I'm getting tired of is people aren't making reference to concrete elements of Thai boxing when they say they won. And that's what makes it very, like, I'm getting really tired of every time there's a fight that's not a complete washout, we kind of watered down the community's collective understanding of Muay Thai by throwing out these just nonsense arguments. Like sometimes I hear someone say, I thought my boy won, and I say, I thought he won too. And they say, he won because of this and this. He was more aggressive and he this and he, and they go, who told you any of that scores? Like, you have a point, but that's not the reason why. And like, what I see in this fight is that we don't get anywhere. This was a close ass fight. This was it was a really close fight.
It wasn't like a ultra high scoring fight in terms of like so many. It's like a couple of strikes kind of separating.
Yeah, I agree. It was a close fight. It was a great fight, but I also think we sometimes. I don't know. I don't want to go too far with this. I think at the end of the day, there's a young fellas. That are gaining their experience. And so, like we talked about a couple of times, maybe like, I don't want to say like, obviously we want to get the fair decisions and we should push back if we feel the decision's incorrect. I just think maybe we need a process for arguing with decisions, not like going to the judges and like, but before you get on and say, I should have won. And this is like a coming from both sides thing. It's not like the losing side or the winning side. It's the debate and how like the argument just makes it more confusing. Is it like, okay, your boy won. That's good. Let's talk about it. Let's run through the scoring criteria and show me the moments where you outscored the other side, because I just see these arguments and I think about times when I was new to Muay Thai and didn't quite know how it scored. And like this can become really distracting because you're already a biased opinion if your guy's fighting. We've all been there.
Yeah.
We've all been in positions
Well, it's like
where
it's saying that, like, if you try robbery and that, but like, how many people are like objectively just sitting down and trying to actually properly score it instead of, like, you're a Dre supporter or you're a Cale supporter, but how many were you actually sitting down going, okay, do it, like actually properly scoring it instead of, like, cheering and just like, oh boy, did good work there.
yeah, absolutely, and like, how do I? Again, I'm not saying everyone should, because it's not feasible for sports in general. I want the collective Muay Thai audience to grow, and it's not like every rugby league fan intricately knows the the rule book, the official kind of like referee's handbook of rugby league. They know the gist of it, and there's arguments in every sport about decisions made by officials and stuff like that. It's just that, like, I get tired of people pulling from like their own arbitrary rule book that they've kind of just like, and I'm looking at comments, so-and-so won because of this and this, and I'm like, okay, but how does that tie back to the actual scoring criteria? Have you ever looked at it? Because it's very difficult when you see this, if you're new and you're, from one of these gyms, the people around you that are more experienced saying these things. So this is where bad ideas come from, is that like someone at your gym said it and you respect what he has to say in general. So you just kind of repeat it. And then you look back, like there's so many times, this is life in general, to be honest. But you've got to be like, look at every idea that you have about how things work and then think back, how many of them came from like an irrefutable kind of source of truth? And then you think, okay, how many of it's just popped up in a conversation? The person who told you that could have been corrected later on and completely changed their mind, and you're carrying on their old idea. Like more of us need to understand how to draw from actual scoring. We will always argue about decisions because the reality is there are elements of subjectivity, and that's fine. That's the element of kind of like a human judged sport. Like it's not a conventional points on the board,
it's not foolproof.
Ball through a net. Yeah. And this is every sport of that nature. I just find like the problem becomes more of a problem when like we, regardless of what your opinion was, you kind of just work off of like I don't even really quite know. It's just that
I'm just pissed off.
I'm not even that pissed off. It's also like I just find we're having these arguments. I mean, actually, the core, the crux of what I was.
Well, does the arguments actually go anywhere? Does it?
It goes nowhere because there's no way for us to be like, okay, you know what? Let's go back to the scoring criteria and figure it out. Because at the end of the day, we don't actually want to come to a resolution. We want to be right.
Yes.
So like,
exactly.
Definitively coming up with what the answer to the situation is actually going to, like, people don't want you to come in and they're not going to listen anyway.
No.
They just want to argue. And I get it. That's sports. I love it. Like, I like after a Muay Thai fight like this one, like, our team still have an amazing community and their fighters are good and, they're run by a couple of absolute legends. I like when crowds get involved to say, no, like, fuck that, we won. I like it. It's something we need is community support. But like when we have these, what also becomes the issue is, I mean, like what I kind of started before I started going nuts was like, I get tired of watching two states fight and their supporters are like, we won because this and this. And it's like, we can't have a sport where you just like, well, everyone's idea of winning is different state by state because then it's like, like people are going to be like, well, no, I'm not taking that fight in. Muay Thai is supposed to be Muay Thai.
Yeah, across the board.
And I get it. There's always going to be little preferential differences and stuff like that, but we can't have this thing where like you've got to fight a certain way and then like just little arguments that are calling people's integrity into question. I don't really like. Notably, the commentators.
I actually turned the commentary off when I was watching the Dre fight because I didn't want to be influenced because I've been influenced too many times before. I wanted to do it properly, so yeah. Even though it's as lovely as it would have been, but yeah, I get what you're saying. Like all for like, basically just goes, oh fuck, Dre, I thought you got it, or like Cale got it, like, like good work. But when some people start going in actual like, go, no, he did this, and then I always go back to, okay, how many officiating courses have you been to? Or a good one I heard the other day from the Ring Lovers podcast with Joey Abolita is great name. But like, just score a fight every day. Every day, like, just, pick up, like, obviously from reputable sources from there, like, watch it, you can, like, what's the other one, like the Pitch and D show the other day. Awesome.
Great show. Yeah.
A couple fights from there, try to score them, see how I went as well. But like, same thing, like, how much experience are you putting in, or how much stuff are you putting into furthering your knowledge on actually how to score the sport? And there's also a deteriorating skill as well, even from like a
massively.
Massively. Like, just because like, I know how to score Muay Thai, it's like, but what's the practice of you actually keeping it up, scoring as well?
Yeah, and like, this is sort of that's something I have to keep myself up the arse sometimes. Like, I don't even watch as many fights as I would like to. I don't always have time. And when I do watch them, like, at the end of the day, I'm just a fan of Muay Thai. Like, I got a lot of shit to do. But I just sometimes want to sit down and just kick it and enjoy.
Yep.
Like, I have to give myself a little push sometimes. But sit down with just a piece of paper. I don't even do it that much. But I should. Like, I'll be honest. Like, it's not like I want to be real as well. It's not like I'm like every day I go home with my scoring criteria and like
2 hours a day.
But it also comes back to the crux of the issue for me is that like everyone's scoring to a different criteria. So you just go this thing where like after every fight, it's like, well, the New South Wales judges, well, the Queensland judges, well, the Victorian judges, and it's like we're never going to come up with a unified. And like this was like a supervised. I know how good the judges running the show here are. Because like I'm trying my best to learn from Trevor and Elias, and it's also if I score a fight and I'm not sure, I will call those guys and say, "What do you think?" And sometimes they might say, "You're an idiot." No, they won't say that. They're nicer than that, but they could. They might say, "No, you're way off the mark." And it's like you've got to be willing to. I know it's just that idea of like people are so. I want to preface that like I'm not talking about this fight anymore. It's like a lead into a more holistic issue because I actually thought for the most part people were cool here. It just kicks off these discussions about the differences that you'll find.
It seems to be like a bit of a trend now happening.
Because it's like, and this is a good example of these two young guys, is that they went up to Queensland and fought and there was blow-ups about Cale was robbed, and they go down to New South Wales and fight, and now the other side blows up that Dre was robbed. And then how do we actually, like, these are two high-level young guys.
Yeah.
If one of them doesn't knock the other out, how do we solve this? Send them to Victoria and just let them do a neutral, and what are you going to come up with there? Like, I don't know.
Okay, Fight Island.
Yeah, like, it's not a problem we can solve if we don't actually start to look at how Muay Thai scored instead of just like blowing it. But also there were just like little things. I shouldn't read comments.
Yeah.
But like I see things like this was obviously just to set up a third fight.
Yes, so much to gain.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
we've got the money coming through on this one.
Like we're going to make millions of these two kids. So, and then we put them on pay-per-view for the trilogy match. Like, I didn't get it at all. And I thought, like, honestly, I did my thing there, but like we'll talk about the fight because I liked it.
Yeah,
and,
look, overall, I thought it was a really good fight.
And let me come back to this because probably piss everyone off again. I don't mean to piss you off because I like everyone, but I thought this fight was really good. And I will say, if you come up to me and you say Dre won that, I'm just gonna say, look, I get it. I get where you're coming from. I don't think anyone was robbed or anyone was blind or whatever. I just think sometimes when there's a fight and there's a quote unquote controversial decision, I'm just like, the first thing we have to recognize is that it was a really close fight. And there's many examples of that when they're like, this was a robbery. I'm like, okay, as soon as you come to me and you tell me it was a robbery, I'm not listening to you anymore. Because this fight was flip, the whole way through.
Yep.
Like I thought. And Kieran and I went to, again, we weren't scoring and yada, yada. I say this every single time. We went to the cards like, not sure. Not sure who won that. I'd really have to go back and score it, which I haven't seen some.
Like he's always talking about, like, you know, don't trust the commentators to score your fight for you.
Yeah, and I thought, like, I could see where the momentum shifts were. Like, I thought early, Cale was kind of disrupting Dre's ability to kind of walk in. He landed some really nice kicks across the body. He was setting up his left kick really well. He was playing off the ropes. Dre kind of countered that through round 3 and 4, and like did some big damage on Cale's legs. Really, like busted him up.
You could see the actual marks on it.
Yeah, and Cale got quite a similar complexion to myself. So he will show that a little bit more. Yeah, and also I felt Dre in those 3rd and 4th rounds was making Cale look uncomfortable, like a stylist like Cale that likes to slide back and play the ropes. If you're the guy that's pressing forward, you have to be like emphatic about your work and really kind of show the judges like he's not playing backwards, he's being forced backwards, and land those leg kicks really well and like that. And then I thought Cale kind of started to late 4th round and into that 5th round was sort of starting to get his counter kicks going again, kind of fend Dre off a little
like
bit.
the low kicks coming, like, you know, because he kept going high and then ready to pull back a lot of times.
Yeah, it was nice. But like some moments of discomfort put on by Dre. Again, like that, the way that momentum was going, I don't know, some rounds would have been really hard to split. I'm sure drawn rounds in that kind of early going. So that's why I need to actually get my numbers. I wasn't sure who won that fight when it went to the cards. I really was not. I thought Dre had finished just slightly stronger, was wearing a bit of damage. It was a very close fight. If you've got, again, like if you want to call that a robbery, then you're being biased because it wasn't. You know, it was very close and maybe Cale just edged the points. Just that's what I kind of saw. Just edge the points a little bit. But
that's what
he didn't have an easy run. But it's also like we can't. I'm going to shut up about this in a second because it's not that important. But like we are at a place in Muay Thai now where every fight that's not like a complete wash is a robbery in someone's eyes. And like we have to get to a place where a fight can be competitive the whole way through and still be clearly won by someone, like in a point sense. Like that's what we've sort of forgotten is that like you do a really good job at many parts of the fight and like still quite clearly lose. Like just because you don't,
you know.
So
it's the same thing as talking about probably 1-2 strikes just separating.
Like this fight, even though no one asked, was really close. Either way you look at it, you know. And I would like to see these guys fight again. We were saying in our little post-fight wrap live, like I hope these guys stick with Muay Thai because they're both really, really good, and I'd love to see them fight as adults. Like let them go and gain more experience and turn 18 and. Let him go and fight in Victoria. Let him fight on YouTube ground because it was good. It was a good fight. It was a really optimistic look at where Muay Thai is at. For the next board.
Or like this on the East Coast because, like, you know, WNA, you just know there's always going to be good stuff coming out of there. And the East Coast now, like you see, it's a very healthy outlook.
Yeah, so I'm sure these boys will fight 1,000 times as they get older. Like if they own a long careers, which I'm sure they will. But that's just one highly biased New South Wales commentator's opinion.
Alright.
It's also like whenever I commentate interstate fights, like or not, like, you know, fights with states fighting states. It's like, these biased commentators. I'm like, I don't know either of these guys.
It's like, George, that guy, he's all in that camp. It's like, I don't know, I'm just brought in here.
Like, people, it's like, don't assume I like anyone. Like, we live in the same state. What? Like, I seriously never had a conversation with either of the guys.
All right, let's go to the pro card now.
Yeah, should we talk about that little thingy with the first fight?
Oh, I might as well, I guess.
That's tricky. It wasn't tricky.
I don't know. How many fucking rants are going to have? Like, it's
no, I got nothing to rant about this because I don't even really get what happened. But I just remember being in the back.
So Justin Shin was meant to fight Tomoaki Sato.
Yeah.
Tomoaki didn't bring his blue book.
Yeah, but I heard there was more to it than this, right?
Okay,
like,
I'm just going out the information I heard. So.
My understanding, look, it was a fuck up.
Yeah.
From, I don't know, everyone. Like, basically, like, Tomoaki had to register with the CSA This was his first fight in Australia. He did his rego, and the assumption was that the blue book was going to be brought to the venue, as they often do.
Okay.
And I think he had previously been registered with the CSA, and they were under the impression that a book had been issued a couple of years ago. Because he's been in Sydney with PTJ for a couple of years. He hasn't fought because, So, like, I think he registered early, didn't receive a blue book then, and they feel like they sent him a blue book. So they had on their records, he's got his book, he's got to show up with it. He was under the impression they were bringing a book, which, again, like, don't assume anything.
Nope.
So then no book, and they didn't let. So if you're listening interstate and you don't, or I don't know, wherever you may be listening from, when we're talking about the blue book, in New South Wales, you have a physical book that serves as effectively your license to fight. It's a record of your registration. It has notes and documentation on your blood tests and whatnot, and your previous fights. So the idea being, like, because it's 1930, you show up and you show the Combat Sports Board, and that's how they clear that you're able to compete. They see that you didn't fight 3 days ago. No book, no fight. You have to bring it with you, even though they have an electronic record.
Yeah, it's on you to bring their book so they can write in it.
Yeah.
And
so without talking it too much, because I've seen this happen before, one of the boys did not have a book, and they were the opening pro fight, and they just both had to get told. They were ready to go, wrapped up. They were not long from competing. Had to just be told that their fight was canned.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is very tricky when like, this fight was 90 minutes out of Sydney. And it was full of Sydney gyms. It was all Sydney fighters because the show had to move. Reasons I won't get into because I'm rapidly...
It's like, now I'm going to bash the CSA.
This rapidly became an episode where I just complain about things I don't like. Yeah, like it would have been heartbreaking.
Oh, yeah,
sure.
it's just shit.
This is a bit of a...
It's just like, but it is what it is, and I don't know if it's going to change anytime soon.
Yeah, but I know this had to be like a fuck up because it's like one of Andrew's boys.
Yeah, it's like
he's on top of it.
Yeah, well, like this, even some of my guys from there, it's like, they got 2 blue books. They're sending out spares and shit. Like, they go, oh, I thought you didn't have one, you need one. It's so like it's a fucking mess. It's a big mess.
Yeah. Yeah. Whatever.
Okay.
Anyway, that fight didn't happen.
Unfortunately, that sucks.
I heard Andrew might try to keep that match intact, but he wants to consummate professional, or wants to see if 1774 want to keep the match and whatnot. I was interested in that one just because to me that was the big unknown.
Yeah,
I didn't know anything about either guy.
If we said in our preview, it's like, didn't know much, but we're very excited to see what they're going to bring to the ring.
Didn't know what was going to happen, and sure as fuck didn't guess that.
Yeah, but didn't bet on that one.
A lot of unknowns.
Actually, there's a few. I think there's a few of the boys because you could bet on this one, the Palmer bet, and like they just fuck my multi.
It's not void.
Yeah, I don't know how it works, but like they had multis with like this fight and a couple other ones going into this thing.
You want to hear something funny about the Palmer bet?
What?
One of Baki's mates bet the fucking house on a draw.
Oh, wow. There you go. Well, he won. He's the winner of the night.
Yeah. He just saw the odds. A draw is always buying a lot.
Yeah.
It's big. So he just said, fuck it, and bet on a draw.
Hey. Well, he was the winner of the night then.
Yeah.
So speaking of that fight, what's that fight next? I'm just going off the card.
That was next, yeah. So Baki and Lindon opened the show.
Yeah, opened the show. It said when I was like looking at the card, it says 3x3. I thought it was a 5-round fight, and then
the exact same thing happened on commentary. Like they were like, "Fuck, wouldn't mind 2 more rounds." Yeah, the Don on commentary was like, "Fuck, 2 more rounds would be really good. This would be perfect 5-round," and he gets up and leaves. Quick,
come back!
Yeah, I think you already get a feed or something. And then Matt Douglas just keeps going like, okay, they appear to be tending to the fighters. Like, I think they're going to come back out. And like, I'm glad it was 5 too.
Yeah.
Close one.
Yeah, it's like ended up being was it a split draw?
Split draw.
Okay, well, that doesn't matter, but like it was a draw in the end. No, and like look, it was a close fight. I didn't get to see rewatch any of the pro fights from there, and like for me to score the fight, I wasn't there to score fights. I was there, like it was like not a very it's I don't have much opportunity just to actually sit down and go, I'm just gonna enjoy the rest of the night.
Yeah.
And it was good. Like I
was
really
a
liked the
really
action of the
good
fight.
lineup, yeah.
I thought Lindon looked a lot better than the last time we went around. Like, he had that comeback from last time.
Yeah.
And then this time
And it
took
was
more
4
time.
years away. Time flies, eh?
Yeah. But like he just had you could just see the extra time again to prep for the second fight. Looked great.
And still getting in the swing, I think of like his career is now Muaythai. That's the difference. He's coaching and stuff like that. So come up with his find his rhythm.
Yep.
Always looks like super fit.
Yeah.
Lindon, he looks.
Well,
He looks
they're
good.
these twins, aren't they? These guys.
Yeah, yeah. Look, a couple of good looking roosters, Baki and Lindon. But this was like close. Like this fight.
I think if the majority of the time these guys they fought 10 at a time, it would be split. Split down the middle.
Yeah, and it's one of those ones that's tough, right? It was kind of a funny situation that they fought last time, and then it ended up just lockdowns and stuff happened, and for some reason, yeah, so it's kind of like a funny situation that they ended up fighting back to back, like this. But then also that it's just they had a close fight last time. Lindon got the nod, come back in. It's even it's worth doing again, but somehow less decisive. Did they fight again?
Just straight off the bat, again, just back it up.
Both seem pretty keen. This was a very, very entertaining fight.
It was.
I really enjoyed it.
A third fight definitely okay, but maybe they just need a break from each other. It's one just go have another fight, bring it back again.
Yeah,
work on some other things.
I liked it a lot this fight. Baki definitely did some things that we're working on. He kicked a lot more. He's never been a big kicker, to be honest. He likes that smothering walking knee style. Likes that smothering sort of walking knee style, but was kicking high. He opened with a really nice high teep.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I saw that.
And that was but just a couple of things that the teeps were really good. He was pushing Lindon around the ring with teeps. Maybe his follow up was slightly not as thoughtful as it could have been. But Lindon he made it tricky. He made that kind of follow up tricky for Baki, but he had some really good moments of controlling the clinch, kicked really nicely a lot. Lindon got that left hand through quite a bit. He sort of established that as his game, I thought, and gave Baki some problems when he was moving forward. Lindon would kind of run him over the top of that left hand, which Baki had to address as well. But there were some good moments of one guy would take control and the other would adjust really well. I thought, Baki had to stop Lindon getting that hand going because something else off the left would follow, either step up knee or maybe a kick. Baki was kicking nicely, but probably could have done it a little bit more confidently. I thought he went long periods of time not kicking at all. Also, Baki, he had some moments where he really put himself in a good position and didn't capitalise.
Yeah.
But yeah, really, really good fight. I thought Arami's a fucking wizard on scoring. And we got to the end of the fight and we're like, what do you think? And I go, I think Baki edged it. Obviously, I thought Baki edged it because I wanted Baki to win.
Yeah.
And Aram's like, I think it was a draw.
Fair.
Yeah. Then, look, one of the scorecards here was a bit of an outlier. Someone had it 50-46 Lindon.
I can't see an argument from that. But like I said before, I haven't rewatched the fight. I'm just doing it when I was 2 fucking beers in watching it. Fair enough. All right.
Yeah, 50-46 is a bad score.
Yep.
I thought all the other scores were okay. The draw score I thought was really fair. The Baki score I thought was fair too. But a 48-47 Lindon or something.
But if you were going to come down at the end of the day, if it swung either way, Baki, it'd be like one round.
Yeah, there was not a lot in there, and that's why a draw was fair as well. I thought that draw score was good. I even probably would have got a draw advantage Baki, which is getting a little bit intricate. But I had no problem with the draw. I still would have rather my guy won.
Of course.
I had no problem with the draw. And it was a sick fight and some very, very intense corners from both sides. It was all a bit nuts.
Well, it's Sitchitong and PTJ were man, it's all the corners would have been worn out after that fight, after that show. Yeah,
we've kind of become a bit of rival gyms. Yeah, I mean, it's we're also homies. Just by name, we seem to fight all the time now. I think 2 of the stronger real Thai style gyms in Sydney, and by nature of that, will fight each other a lot.
Yep.
And because half this pro card was PTJ versus Sishiton. And same as the last 1774 was half PTJ and Sishiton.
So the majority of the fighters in Sydney.
Yeah. Actually, that's just like we just have them all. Bit more to come as well.
Awesome.
In the near future.
Nice. So let's
more on that later.
Yeah, we'll go through this card a little bit quicker. This fight, fuck. Nathan Jones Jr. versus Josh McCulloch. Wow.
Fuck, man. I only just got to watch this back. I didn't see it. I didn't see it. Yeah.
Well, happened right in front of me.
Yeah.
Man, look, our boy, Nathan Jones.
Yeah, I really like Nathan.
Look, came in from here. This was his first time Josh McCulloch's pro debut from that. And just kind of, it's like, and it ended with a massive head kick and on the bell.
Crazy.
On the
Crazy.
bell.
I have watched it back since.
Yeah.
And I've seen the whole, because I saw the clip shortly after. But I've seen the whole round now. Man, I think probably people just got to put some respect on Josh McCulloch. I think he's an unassuming guy because he looked like 12 years old.
12-year old and probably maybe kept on the amateur scene maybe a little bit longer.
Yeah, he kind of cute. He looks like a little school kid. And he's got that demeanor as well.
He does.
He's all happy and fuck.
Get in there, have a good crack.
Yeah, it's unusual to be happy if you're a fighter, but no, he's got that. He looks very young, looks very unassuming, and kind of still looks like he's sort of physically developing as well. And he was quite a bit smaller than Nathan. Nathan fights.
Well, I think this was
62.5.
Yeah, so I think this is Nathan preferred this weight, but this is up for Josh.
It's up, yeah. Josh is actually, it's kind of like Nathan's walk around weight. Josh is walk around weight, and he likes 59, I think, which is interesting, very interesting. He's more of a super featherweight. But yeah, an interesting, he's got an interesting style, this sort of blitzing kind of. Fuck, I don't want to anger the karate boys again, but I think there might be some influence from I don't know, honestly.
Chaffee's is a karate style gym.
Yeah, Shasta karate boys.
It's fuck, you got the win, so
yeah. No. I wouldn't say he's not nothing. It looks like there's an influence from a more of a blitzing kind of traditional martial arts. So he throws 34 punches at a time, without much on him, but has kind of definitely he's molded his style into a Muay Thai style because he's finishing with a big kick. He was kicking down into Nathan's rear leg, opposite stance match.
Yep.
But switching stances a lot, some unorthodox stuff and high volume output. Interesting to watch, in that they clinched up towards. He seemed to be given, Nathan looked like he was taking that slightly more professional kind of tempo of just kind of having a look. It wasn't getting stung heaps. He got kicked a bit, but wasn't getting stung a whole lot and started to answer back with some kicks of his own at the end of that round.
He also landed a big hook as well.
Yeah, landed a big hook. Towards the end, it looked like Nathan was settling in and starting to throw some power. They also clinched up, and that was an area of the fight I was interested to watch. And to me, Nathan was the bigger guy, but looked to just have a bit better of an idea of what he was doing in that clinch. Not much to go off, of course, but Josh was not doing a whole lot with his hands. They were kind of out, not really securing any control. Nathan landed some really nice round knees, and then they separate. And then just as the bell lands, it was a smart play because he threw it from orthodox against the southpaw Nathan, I believe, and kind of just poured out with his right hand down the middle just to sort of draw Nathan's guard and his weight down to one side, and then followed immediately. There was nothing on the punch, just touch, and then followed over the top of it with that kind of lunging rear kick. It wasn't a snapping kind of upright high kick. It was he really pushed his hip through it, and it's there was almost a jumping action coming forward, came over the top of Nathan's occupied glove and cold clocked
Close to that. Yeah. There was no beating count or anything. It's just
nothing.
Done.
Yeah. And so I don't know, maybe look, I don't think it's for any reason other than he stayed amateur a little bit longer than he needed to. But I don't think we had enough appreciation for, because I talked to a lot of people. They drew once and Josh won once in the amateurs. So they fought and Josh has won, but the conversation I had is it's different in the pros.
Yeah.
It's different. I didn't have a lot of people giving Josh much of a chance in this one.
Oh, yeah?
Because of what Nathan's done. I think people are just more aware of him.
Yes.
And then like Josh's unassuming kind of look maybe feeds into that. But yeah, if you don't know now, you know.
That's
So
it. Can't sleep on that.
there's good fights here as well. If now that Josh will take his preferred weight in the high 50s, you got guys like Ibrahim, who he also beat in the amateurs.
There's enough like people going around from the Took.
That'd be fun.
What's Van Bam? Is he a bit higher than that? Is he 60s or is he?
No, I think he'd be about there.
That's a good fight? That's a good fight as well.
Good fights.
Yeah, plenty.
Good fights for him.
Plenty
So
of
I'm
money.
happy to see him in the pros. And you know, all the best to my boy Junior. From what I heard, he's doing fine. So
Yeah, it's like
more
he's
to come.
Had a post the day after saying it's okay, and that's the main thing.
That's the main thing. These things happen.
They do.
Hard game, this one, but more good to come from Nathan Jones.
Definitely.
I have absolutely no doubts.
All right, so then we're going to the top end of the card here. So we had Soraya
Stress.
versus Kim Townsend for the WBC Flyweight Australian
I
title.
love this fight.
That's all right. Could have been. I'd rather it be 3-minute rounds, but you know.
Oh man, yeah. Let's. I didn't. Man, fuck.
That's a WBC thing.
Yeah, it's a WBC thing. The female. See, the last time they fought, it was 5 3-minute rounds.
Yeah, that's
But
what I mean.
a WBC women's title fight is 5x2.
Yeah, look, like you can just tell, like it's still at the top, like old head boxing kind of
Yeah,
shit.
facts.
And it's like, it's like, and you saw this fight, and you're telling me these girls, and after you watch the fight, these girls can't do 3 minutes.
They've literally done it against each other.
Yeah, and not put out a good show.
Yeah,
that's
like
bullshit.
after the cornering the other fights, like the bell would ring up that what?
Oh yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
and then it changes the game as well. It's a
Massively.
sprint.
Massively.
Yeah,
It's a great fight either way. But, I mean, like when the rounds are a little bit shorter, it leaves you wanting more a little bit.
sure.
But I mean, like, fuck, it's hard for me to sort of talk about it. I mean, like, I am biased, obviously, because like I wanted Soraya to win. I don't pretend not to. I'm biased towards my own teammates. Sue me. But this was a big one in that, like, both girls had been out quite some time.
Yep.
Soraya had a baby in the time that she was out. A baby who's not even one yet, which is like, I mean, I don't know. I've never given birth, but it seems like a lot. And like, it was a bit of like a comeback fight, and I think it's always Soraya was just in this ridiculous shape. Like, she's so fit and so strong. Just kind of insane to think that she had a baby less than a year ago. I think in the first round, it took a little bit of time for Soraya to kind of find her feet again. I saw she looked a little bit, you know.
Look, Kim came out strong as well.
Kim came out very strong. And look, that probably would have been my game if I was Kim. It'd be like, let's...
It wasn't like a feel out. It's like round 6. Oh, like,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
You're picking up from the last fight.
Hugely. And Kim, like, both girls have had a couple of years off. Kim hadn't actually fought since the last fought Soraya.
Yes,
So that'd be more like 3 years probably. But Kim's at 50-ish, 40-something. Apologies, I don't have it in front of me fights. And, like, you can cop a layoff better when you're more experienced. Soraya's only had 6 coming in.
Yeah.
Or 7 or something like that. So, in theory, the layoff should affect Soraya more. So if you're Kim, get on the front foot and just kind of do your thing. And she did that very well. She had a very strong first round. And Soraya looked like she was kind of struggling to find her feet, just kind of get back into it, shake a bit of rust perhaps. And someone as strong and capable as Kim can really just set a tempo for a fight and kind of just take it away and keep building. And maybe that was my worry, was that like Soraya would never get the chance to find her feet, and Kim would, as she gained confidence, keep sort of putting it on her. But second round started to come around a lot more, a very close round. And I could see from watching all of Soraya's fights, like, her start to look herself again.
Yeah.
And like from the third round especially, like, Soraya's one of those fighters where she's doing really well when she's having fun. And you can see it in her face. Like, the third round, like, she started being mean. Like, and you can see it.
That's those kind of jumping spear knees coming
They
in.
were massive, eh?
They're scoring hard.
That was sick. Yeah, she started to really work off of a teep. The second round, she got a teep going well. And then it was like off of that teep, just when she would sort of show her knee a little bit, she would sometimes jump through with those spear knees that are very difficult to defend if your back is.
Yeah, it's just a lot of shit coming at you, you know?
Yeah, and Soraya you could see she started to feel she was taking some control because she started to push Kim back and would call her back on and say, like, come on, like, where you at? Let's go. Kim was very, very strong in the clinch. Yes. I liked that. You could see Soraya's kind of plan was to get some work done in that clinch, kind of lock Kim down. Being a longer fighter than Kim being a little bit shorter, I think Kim's quite surprising in the clinch for someone who is a smaller statured fighter.
Yep.
Generally, fighters of that build and that comparative build, like being shorter than Soraya, don't play that type of game, but very good timing was dumping Soraya a lot, and I think a lot of that ended up being the difference maker.
Yep,
in this fight.
Just that little bit more.
Yeah, by the end of the fourth round, Soraya, I think the emphatic moments were coming off those jumping spear knees, really burying the shin across the midsection. Some big kicks as well from Soraya.
What did Kim's eye was huge by the end of the, do you remember what actually caused that?
That was an elbow.
In the clinch?
Yeah.
Clinching up there?
Yeah, Soraya landed some good elbows too. Started to kind of warn that clinch off. Just like Kim is very difficult to just hurt. I think both of these two, I'm a big fan of Kim. And I think both have that incredible like will. That's what I saw in this fight from both sides. Like, and that's what I've always liked about Soraya. I try to copy Soraya a lot, but it's her. I think what makes her style work is the will. Yeah. It's like a lot of her technique is beautiful, but it's like she will not be denied. And I saw that from Kim as well. It was like these clinches just where you'd kind of think, like, Soraya puts up that block and Kim's like, no, and keeps fighting through it and like would throw Soraya down and get those moments of sort of dominance. Coming into fifth, I thought it was anybody's.
Yeah.
And Kim's eye was shut and we were kind of like, the doctor had a look and fairly, because it looked quite bad. I was like, fuck. Just wave it off.
Well, I mean, and then like opposite, like I'm in the crowd, just go fucking let it go.
Yo, I had that same thought. Like as a fan, just enjoying it, I was like, give us one more round. But as Soraya's teammate, I was like, please don't do it.
That's it. Got it off now. Yeah, true. That's fair.
Yeah, but Soraya's amazing in that like the way that she can build over the course of her fight. She fights so far beyond her experience, but also the way that she can listen and engage with the corner. Like she's a very, very intelligent fighter. And I talked on the preview about how smart Soraya is, but she's a smart fighter in a different way, in that like you can have a conversation with her in the corner and you can be like this and this. And she's, when like, you can see in her eyes, like she's engaging with what you're saying and picking it up. Like that takes something like to knock out glazy eyed in the corner and just be able to listen and engage.
Zone out.
A very, very smart performance, and one that I think in the fifth round came down to a few moments in the clinch, which was fair. I was really hoping that we got it when we went to the cards. We were unsure, and it was very, very close. I think this one was a split decision too. I think the judges couldn't call it unanimously. But massive performance for Soraya. I think Soraya's career in 7 or 8 fights is like, there's not many like her that have fought at the level that she's fought at and had the performances that she's had.
Yeah, that's
had her experience. Right. And like, I don't know, what I like about her in the ring is also her attitude to her career in general. She will not be denied. It's not like stack the odds against her however you want. It's like, okay, this is just what we're going to do. She just shows up and does the work. Like, not a lot of people would come back. And she was supposed to come back from having a baby much faster. It was lockdown that stopped it. So she's a lunatic, an absolute like incredible person and so kind and like an amazing fighter. Lunatic. Complete lunatic. Yeah, I hope to see Soraya fight again because I
definitely.
We off.
Oh, I do. What happened? Something happened. What?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I hope to see Soraya fight again soon because like she's too good to not fight. I want to see Soraya have 1,000 more fights. And I want to see more of Kim as well. It's been a shame that Kim's been on the shelf so long.
Yeah.
As talented as she is, and I know she was supposed to go overseas, so maybe that'll happen now.
Pick it up now.
Amazing fight. But that's fight of the night for me.
No, definitely. All right. And then we're going to the last fight of the night from there. Wait a minute, let me just break it up. Yep. So we had 2. One versus Chock, PTJ, placement fight. The gunman comes through with the win.
Yeah, I think this may be the best performance I've seen from Chock in a show.
His measure is just like, just taking the scores.
Yeah, big power. Played the game well. Just didn't really let 2 get going.
Yeah, I felt 2, like, I don't know, just seemed it's stifled a bit.
A little bit stifled, yeah. Had some moments, like, landed this sick high kick down towards our corner. Like, it didn't even make any sense and really played off of, like, Chock's that lean back into the ropes. His position into the ropes because it shouldn't have been a high kick. Like, he was prepped for a body kick, like, to kind of sway back and his head comes forward a little bit. 2 does a gymnastics move and throws this massive head kick over the top. I didn't even that's who 2 is. He's very unorthodox and he's got, like, a very unique bag of tricks. Yeah. Towards the end, 2 was coming at him with his hands and I thought hurt Chock quite badly as well, busted his nose. But Chock is very good at playing the game. Very, very good at playing the game.
Scoring well, like, just kick.
And landed some, like 2 said Chock's a survivor before this fight. He landed some hard-ass kicks in this fight. He was throwing with power and hurt 2. Yeah. With a high kick at one point. Yeah. When 2 was swaying back, Chock was just timing that hip so like 2 would kind of sway forward into it.
Yep.
Massive.
It was. It's a good fight. And like
I enjoyed it.
It's funny like just seeing you could see the corner for you guys from there. It's like, and then the last fight's like there's like everyone's like fucking hell. Oh.
Yeah.
I'm all
it's hard.
Out at the end.
We were a little bit under-resourced in the corner to be honest. I mean, like, we've had a bit happening at the gym at the moment where like everyone's kind of doing multiple jobs. But yeah, it was a tricky one and we were tired. I talked to Andrew after and he's like, you look tired out there. And I was like, fuck bro, I was. I was tired.
Struggling.
But
I look sweet in my kicks.
No, yeah, they were nice, huh? And my Buffalo Bill socks.
Yes.
It's fucking 2. We need more of 2 as well. This fucking dude comes to the ring wearing Fruit Loops socks.
Yeah. I was wondering like, what's the workout going to be this time? Because the last couple of times
he was a bit well behaved this time.
Yeah, let's go. Oh, that's a bit vanilla for him, but okay, fair enough.
His run low was cool.
Yeah. Pulling the gad at the end.
Yeah,
it's good. And it was good. Good cut of that as well. I think by Sean.
Yeah, that was sick. Yeah.
But also as well, wanted some Hong Kong run. Owen did some great work.
He's so good. Owen, good dude.
Plenty to work with though with all those fights on that.
Yeah. One of the better, nicer fights I've been at recently. But I think fuck I say that every time. Yeah, really cool night. Interesting one for me to see. Look, I'm happy to. I really like Chock. I was in the other corner this time, but I just reckon he's the best. He's so funny. I loved his post-fight interview. I really like him. I was excited to see him fight. I thought he put on a really good performance. I'm keen to see him do it again. Interested to see what happens next for 2. 2's been in fighting on the Aussie scene for a while now, and has only fought PTJ.
It might be trying for a little change on that.
Maybe it's time for a change, but it's not like they're out of guys for him to fight. You know what I mean? Like, I would watch 2 fight Lindon.
Yeah.
And,
and the original match, Cruz when his knee heals up.
Yeah. Maybe, the fight with Darren was quite close. Maybe that'd be worse.
Yeah.
Running back at some stage. But yeah, I mean, let's give
just have
PTJ a break from 2. Yeah, there's lots of fights out there. I'm excited to see what comes next. I think even when you watch 2 not win, is you see what he's capable of, and there's so many there's a lot for the Aussie Muay Thai fans to see here. I'm excited. Excited for more too. Yeah, excited for more Muay Thai. We want a busy year in Muay Thai.
That's it, yeah. So, March might be a busy one.
Yeah.
But I'll go from there, but talk about it when it goes closer to the thing. All right. I think I'll just do it for today for our review of 1774.
This Friday, get in front of your TV for Diandra Martin versus Smilla Sundell.
That's the one.
That's going to be big. Yeah, that's a big opportunity for Diandra.
Yeah, Diandra. And also, the week after, you got Yolanda fighting in Dubai. Yeah, for WMC World Title.
Yeah, massive.
Aussie girls doing it.
Yeah, huge. A lot coming up.
Yeah,
good to see.
Both.
Good to see. Just things pumping again.
Yeah, funny. Former opponents now split off during big things.
Yeah, interesting that with the timing and stuff like that too. Yeah, but it's cool. So get onto that. It's free. You have no excuse not to watch it. We love Diandra.
Definitely do. Yeah. All right, guys. So that'll be it for today. Thanks for listening. Remember to like, share, subscribe to the podcast from there. And we'll catch you next time.
See ya.
Peace.